Today on Montel.
He said, I'm here to kill you.
He was cutting and strangling me and saying, "How does it feel to have the air choked out of you?"
Attacked where they thought they were safe in their own homes. Melissa, the target of a hitman.
He just shot me.
Shot you where?
Right between the eyes. They actually pronounced me dead.
Kenny and Mary fought off her jealous ex.
He stuck the knife in me here.
I didn't know she was alive or dead.
They survived, but how? Don't go away. That's coming up right now on Montel.
Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. You know, your home is supposed to be the one place that you're supposed to feel the safest. But imagine that feeling of safety being shattered when someone you know attacks you in your own home. Our first guest thought that she was safe at home, but when a friend of her ex-boyfriend showed up, her life changed forever. I want you to take a look at this. Melissa was at home with her 2 young children when she heard a knock at the door. Knocking was Shamel Thomas, who said he was there to see her new boyfriend. Confused by what he wanted, she let him into her apartment. Melissa didn't know he had a gun. By the time she saw the gun's barrel, it was too late to run. Please welcome Melissa to the show. I want to back up for a second. Let's back up before we talk about what happened that day. You had been in a relationship for a period of time, right? Seeing the same guy.
Yes.
And then, did you break up because you were going to move, or did you break up and then you moved?
No, we moved and then I broke up.
You moved and then you broke up. So, you know, you're mom, single mom.
Yeah.
You met somebody else.
Yeah.
Started dating him.
Yeah.
How long did the two of you actually go out together?
A month or two.
A month or two, at the most.
Yeah.
During that period of time that you were going out with him, what? Things just didn't work out, but what about him? Did you just realize, I don't like him, forget it, move on?
No, just the way he did everything, the thing about him, I knew he wasn't a good person.
Okay.
He had a bad side to him.
He had a bad side there.
Yeah.
So you didn't want any part of that?
Yeah, it wasn't right for me and the kids.
So let me just tell you right here, this was a mom who did the right thing. You ended the relationship.
Yes.
Say yeah, right? He goes on. He called you a little bit, trying to get back with you.
Oh, yeah.
A lot, initially. But you said no. You went back to dating the guy that you were seeing before,
Yes.
right? You started going out with him. You're seeing him for now how long? A couple weeks?
Not even. A couple of days.
Couple days. You're at home alone. Now, before we even go any further, let's back up and talk about this middle person, this guy that you dated for a month and a half. When you broke up, did he say to you, you know what, he shouldn't have done this? Did he say anything at all that would have seemed to have been a threat to you?
Yeah, he called me constantly. He was jealous that I left him and that I was with my ex-boyfriend again. So I even went and called the cops on him. I was so afraid.
Okay, but then did he threaten you? Or
Yeah.
He openly said, I will hurt you? Or
Yes, so he warned me, yes.
What did he say?
He warned me. He told me something's going to happen. I'm going to get you and your boyfriend. Make sure the kids aren't around.
Did you call the police and tell
Yes.
them? And what did they say?
They came to my house. They took a report and everything. And there was an emergency phone call. So they had to go.
They had to go.
Yes.
Did you hear from them again?
Well, they told me, I gave him his address, and they told me that they were going to go pick him up on harassment.
Okay.
And they left my house. It was like 1 o'clock that afternoon. And I figured, yeah, they're going to pick him up.
Okay. So how many days later does this friend show up at your front door?
7 o'clock that night.
That night?
That night.
Now, hear this. The police said they were going to go pick him up. 7 o'clock that night, there's a ring at your door. You're at home with your children?
Kids.
2 kids?
Cooking
Yeah, at the
dinner.
time. And how old are your kids at the time?
3 and 4?
3 and 4. 4-year-old daughter, 3-year-old son, right?
Yes.
Okay. Cooking dinner. Doorbell rings. You look out the front. Didn't recognize the person, right?
Not even. I just answered the door. I figured it was safe. I didn't think anything.
Okay, so doorbell rings. You see it. You go answer the door, and it's somebody you don't know, right?
Well, I saw him before. Anthony was actually talking to him by a call one day.
But you didn't know
No,
him.
I didn't know him. No, not at all.
You just saw the face.
Yeah.
You said what?
Well, he just invited himself in. He just walked in. And he asked me where my ex-boyfriend was, my boyfriend at the time. I said, he's not here. He was more worried that someone who was there was going to hurt him. So he walked in. I was like, look, I'll show you around the house. I showed him.
But what was his reason for wanting to be? He was looking for your boyfriend, the guy.
Yes.
And said to you that he owed you money, or owed him money or something.
That he robbed him. That,
he robbed him.
Not him, but robbed Anthony.
So you're showing around the house saying, my boyfriend's out here, my boyfriend's out here.
And he looked scared, so I kept telling him, don't worry, you're in my house. Nobody's here. Nobody's going to hurt you.
And at one point you were where were you? In the living room? Where were you at?
I rang him to my room. The living room is right where the door is. To the bathroom, to my daughter's room, through the kitchen where my daughter was, and the last room was my son's room.
Son's room. You showed him the room, and when you turned around to look at him, what did he do?
As soon as, he was actually walking out before me, and I was just walking out, and then he just turned around and shot me.
And shot you where?
Right between the eyes.
That bullet entered? Did a lot of damage?
Yeah, it entered. They had to remove a piece of the frontal part of the brain. It shot out my eye. This is actually a prosthetic. Shot out my eardrum. They had to remove that's actually what saved me. The eardrum actually slowed it down. And it went through my 7th nerve, and it landed in my throat.
You had to undergo how many surgeries?
Over 9. Too many to even remember how many.
And you're still going through medical issues now.
Yeah, well, all this is actually all plates, because my TMJ joint was shattered, and my orbit was shattered. Well, not shattered, but it was all fractured.
You lost custody of your children, and that's only because of your ability now to take care of them. You get to see them?
On weekends.
On weekends? Yeah. Why don't you for a second explain? I mean, I wrestled with talking to you as a guest, because my thought was, I hate having people here and then look at the audience and not be able to say what she did. Everything you could do.
And I moved to Florida from New York because I don't want to raise my kids here. I thought it'd be better. I had a house, I had a car, a job. Everything was going great. Friends, I made more friends out there than I did here my whole life.
What is your life like now?
Every other day, doctor's appointments. I mean, 2 different kind of therapies. They're finding things that they don't even know still what it is. I'm losing feeling on this side of my body, nerve damage.
And we should say, Anthony, the guy who hired the hitman, was convicted and given what as a sentence?
5 years. It has to do, but he only has to do 80%.
Only has to do 80%. The man who shot you was given what as a sentence?
30 years.
30 years. The man who hired the person to do this to her has now, in some ways, changed your life forever.
Definitely.
His life should be changed forever. No ifs, ands, or buts. We'll take a break. We'll be back. When she first came running down to you and saying, Mom, somebody was in my room, you reached to call to dial your phone and realized that the phone lines were dead. That's when you knew there was a problem.
That's when I really flipped out. He grabbed me, he spun me around, and he stuck the knife in me here, and he started dragging it across my chest, twisting it, while I was on the phone with 911.
Did you serve time for a crime you committed and now you want to apologize to the person you hurt the most? If so, call us at 1-800-MONTEL-2. That's 1-800-MONTEL-2.
You know, we're talking today about the fact that your home is supposed to be your castle. It's supposed to be the place that you feel the safest. But what happens when someone violates your home? Again, welcome Melissa to the show. And you know what? I almost forgot to even mention this during the last segment when we were talking, and we both forgot this, but your 2 children were in the house.
Yes.
This man shoots you. Obviously ran out the door.
Yeah.
Left you there, but how did you get saved? How did somebody find out that this happened?
Well, he left me there figuring my kids are too young, that's it. Well, I was out, so he figured I wasn't alive. My daughter was right a few feet away. She runs in. I'm laying on the floor. There's actually like a runner, plastic runner, and I was like, I was saying, Anthony, go get the neighbor, go get the neighbor.
You were able to talk after being shot
Yeah.
straight in the center of your face? You told your 4-year-old daughter to go get the neighbor,
Yes.
and that's exactly what she did she not?
Well, it took a while.
Uh-huh.
She wouldn't go, and then out of nowhere I just got this, I was going to fall asleep kind of feeling. And I knew this was it. So I grabbed her, and just the way I grabbed her, I told her, Mommy's going to die, go get the neighbor. And my son had woken up from the gunshot. He was there too, from the bullet, you know, the sounds. And they went. She knew that was it. That's right after that. That's when I passed out. It went into a coma.
And you ended up being in a coma for how long?
2 weeks on life support.
2 weeks on life support.
It was actually 4 millimeters from my carotid artery.
Carotid artery, yes, in your neck. So your children ran across the street, ran next door?
Next door.
Banged on the door? And what,
Well, she was actually in her pool.
Really?
Yeah, and my daughter they had blood all over them. And she said somebody shot my mommy.
And she called 911?
She took the kids inside and called 911.
There is a reason, child, why you're here. You know that. So, and maybe it was just to do this, just to tell your story.
Yeah.
And help somebody else.
Yeah.
You know, imagine being a young girl asleep in your own bed and waking up to a man on top of you. I want you to take a look at this. Laura and her family bought their first home in June of 2002. 2 months later, they moved in. As they slept that first night, they had a visitor. A man entered their home. He crept into the bedroom of 16-year-old Emily. The man jumped on top of the teen, putting the blanket over her head to muffle her cries. When Emily tried to scream for help, he told her if she didn't shut up, he would kill her. Please welcome Emily and her mother, Laura, to the show. Tell us what happened from that point on, because you woke up. Was it the fact that somebody had climbed on you that woke you, or did you sense somebody in your room before he even touched you?
No, I don't know, I was just sleeping, and all of a sudden I just felt somebody touching me, and I kind of, like, you know, when you first wake up, you're not really sure what's going on. And I was like, what the heck, you know? And then he put the blanket over my head and told me, shut up or I'll kill you. And then I just, you know, it felt like a scary movie, like a scary scene in a movie.
You maintain, though, the wits about you to be able to do, what did you do next?
I never screamed or anything. My body felt like it just freaked out, and I hit him, and I pushed him off of me. I couldn't see who it was, where they were, because they had blanket over my head. And I started flinging my legs everywhere, and he ended up hitting the wall and falling off the bed. And then I took the blankets off my head, and I could hardly see because I wear glasses, contacts. But I saw him running out of my room, and he slammed the door really hard and went into the next room, slammed that door, and went out the window. You
thought, when you got up to go out of that room, what did you think you were going to find in your house?
I thought he was going to be right outside the door.
Did you think he had already done something to your parents?
Yeah, I sat up and I just, you know, I thought, what if my dad's dead downstairs? Was my mom's dead downstairs? You know, it just, everything goes through your mind, right, when you finally realize what actually happened to you.
Which brings us to you, Mom. You were asleep when this happened.
Yeah.
Did not realize that the perpetrator ran through your room and climbed out a window.
Right. Well, no, I was downstairs sleeping on the couch. He walked past me and went upstairs, and we had just bought in the house. So my room wasn't done yet. We did her room first, so she would have everything she wanted, and, you know, just thought everything was really great. And so my room wasn't done yet, so I was sleeping on the couch. And he went into the room next to hers, which, you know, wasn't no bed in there or anything like that, and cut the screen and went out. But they had cut the phone lines.
When she first came running down to you and saying, Mom, somebody was in my room, you reached to dial your phone and realized that the phone lines were dead. That's when you knew there was a problem.
That's when I really flipped out.
Let me take a little break, because when we come back, I want to know what you thought when you found out, or when you realized that the person who allegedly did this was somebody that you knew. Let me take a little break. We'll be back right after this.
I'm trying to push him back out that door, and that's the only thing I think of, just getting him outside. And when he decided to let go, that's when he took the knife and went across my cheek right there.
But then he proceeded to stab you how many times, Kenny?
The record said like 13.
I went over the top, the edge of the top, and he raped me.
But once you came to, you realized not only had he strangled you,
I had been stabbed,
he had stabbed you.
and I had been cut, and I had a 7-inch wound across my abdomen.
Montel. They're faithful and in love, so why won't their men marry them?
It changes depending on the day of the week. I've been ready for probably the last 5 years.
Today, these women need to know, will you ever marry me?
I love this girl. She is my heart.
You said, I will marry her.
Oh, I will.
When?
Some women may get their wish, but for others,
It's just hard for me to watch. I want it so bad.
will years of happiness come to a sudden end? On the next Montel.
It wasn't until later that you had a chance to talk about this, but is your daughter saying, I think that sounded like so-and-so, we won't say his name.
Right.
What was the first thing that crossed your mind when she said that?
It made me sick to my stomach.
This was a person who you knew, the family knew? How did you know him?
I was friends with his wife. She used to play with his stepdaughter. I cleaned their house. I cleaned houses. I have my own cleaning business, and just thought he was really somebody that we could trust. And, welcomed him into our lives. If the kids played together. I was friends with his wife, and then, I don't know, I don't know.
This happened in August?
Yeah, August 11th.
And after the information was provided to the authorities, he wasn't brought in and arrested until late September.
18th.
And was bonded out almost immediately.
Yeah.
So he is walking the streets right now.
Yeah.
Has not gone to trial, so everything we're saying is alleged. How does this make you feel?
Sometimes it makes me feel really unsafe in my own house, Like at nighttime is when I get scared.
I found this note from him, and it was to Emily apologizing.
And you had read that note?
She didn't even know it was in the room.
I didn't know it was in the room, and I didn't ever read it.
I called the
didn't want
cops, and they came down and got the note, and the cop that came, he was looking at the handwriting, and he took the note. He just like flipped out, and he took the note, and he took it to the police post, and through a drug bust, they had this journal. And he had signed every day of that journal, and he had used her name, there's other girls' names in there. We don't even know who they are.
It could be somebody younger than I am.
But these were girls that, whoever filled out that journal,
porno book with my daughter as the star, and everything he wanted to do to her, and this and that.
Well, right now, because we can't, again, he's not gone to trial yet, so we will say that this is alleged, and hopefully the police will be able to find a match and find him as a perpetrator. What do you wish happens to this guy for this?
If he's found guilty, if he is found guilty, I just hope he gets put away in jail and actually realizes that what he did to me and what he could have done to other people. Because there was other girls' names in that book, and
we could have to look at pictures of
other women that was in that book that I don't know, but it's
we don't know how long.
Just pictures of them like in their underwear and stuff, and it's
nasty.
The thing that bothers me the most is that we didn't even know he was like that.
And now you know.
Yeah.
Okay, well, please welcome psychologist Dr. Wiley Goodman to the show. Welcome home. Wiley, this is the place that we're supposed to feel the safest, our own home. Now, how do you go on living and not fearing walking into your bathroom? Right now, they're not even living in a part of the brand new house that they got.
Right.
What do you do?
Well, I think we all live with this illusion of safety most of the time, when we walk down the street, in our homes, at work, all sorts of places. And the fact is that it's a horrible thing to say, but that we all are at risk at various times. And so home invasion, like you said, I think it's particularly challenging because we can't avoid that place. It's not like you can't walk down a certain street or go back to a place that you've been. This is your home, you're right. So I think part of this is to accept that you're going to feel angry, you're going to feel scared, you're going to feel anxious for a while. That's actually a normal part of the healing process.
Absolutely. Let me take a little break. We'll be back right after this.
He woke us up at like 8 o'clock in the morning, banging on the door, trying to break in. And Kenny looked out the small window and he said, "What are you doing here?" And he pulled out the knife and he said, "I'm here to kill you."
Please welcome Mary to the show. Mary, crazy. I want you to tell us about your ex-boyfriend.
I met him through some friends. He was very quiet, very shy, very sweet.
But very quickly he started becoming very possessive, wanting to know where you were all the time, asking you questions about who you were talking to. All those odd things that started sending off little light bulbs, right? So you decided to break the relationship off, right?
That, and I found out through a friend that the person that he had told me that was his ex-girlfriend was actually his wife.
And he was still married?
Yes, and he had never told me that.
Okay.
And I thought, you know, I'm going to open my door and some woman is going to knock my teeth out and I'm going to have to let her.
Right, absolutely. Because you're the one that's cheating.
Yeah.
All right, so
Oh my goodness.
you said, relationship's over. Herschel, come on. We can't do this. You got to go. And of course he told her, but I have no place to go. I just lost my job. I don't have any money. Right, but he got another job. You said, what, as soon as you get yourself on your feet?
I called a friend of mine and said he needs a job and he needs some money so he can move, get gone. And so he hired him and I said, two checks, two
And
paychecks.
2 checks, you're out.
And
And he left after the 2 checks. Okay, now, but as soon as he left, he started calling.
And driving by the
and
house.
Driving by the house all
on
the
a
time.
dead-end street.
Then on one occasion, he stopped at the house itself. This is before the cigarette thing, but he stopped at the house, right? Knocking on the door, and you had just met somebody else.
We had been friends for years. We had just started dating.
Started dating. So when he showed up the first time at your house, is that when he found out that Kenneth was your boyfriend? Oh, and what happened that night?
He told Kenny, leave.
And you told Kenny, look, I think just to diffuse this, you ought to take off.
I said, look, let's just diffuse the situation. And he's like, I'm not leaving. And I said, please, just because he won't hurt me. He's just angry and he's hurt and I'll talk to him and then he'll go and I'll give you a call.
Okay.
And Kenny drove around the block instead.
But that night you did talk to him. You talked to him. And Herschel left.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us that night that he came by?
We were watching TV, watching a movie, and he was banging on the door, and we were just going to ignore it. Just to, he'll leave. And he didn't leave, and he just kept banging, so finally I said, okay, I'll go answer the door, it'll be fine. And I answered the door, and he said he knows that I know you're in there having sex, and this and that, and I said, I really don't want to talk to you. Please leave. And I went to shut the door, and he stepped forward and pushed it open and flicked his cigarette at me and came through the door.
And this is the first time that Kenny had an altercation with him, right? Kenny came in.
Kenny came in and grabbed him and wrestled him down to the ground, and I called 911.
And the whole time Herschel was saying, please don't call the police on me. Don't call the police. Police came and picked him up, right? Took him in. How long did he stay in for this?
11 hours.
How many days later did he come to your door again, this time carrying a knife?
Maybe a month.
About a month later. And you would think that after a month, he got it. Let it go. You had him arrested one time. See ya.
He still called. I had to change the number. He sent me a letter and with like some cards that I had given him when we were dating. And in the letter he said, if you care anything at all about me, send them back to me. If you don't, tear them up and throw them away. And I thought the best thing to do to try and get him to drop it was just to not send him back. And that cutoff of all contact was...
Drove him crazy. He showed up on your doorstep this last night. And Kenny looked out the window first, right, and saw him?
He woke us up at like 8 o'clock in the morning, banging on the door, trying to break in. And Kenny looked out the small window and he said, "What are you doing here?" And he pulled out the knife and he said, "I'm here to kill you."
And let me take a break right here, and when we come back, we'll find out what happened. We'll be back right after this.
Did you serve time for a crime you committed and now you want to apologize to the person you hurt the most? If so, call us at 1-800-MONTEL-2. That's 1-800-MONTEL-2. Closed captioning provided by...
Your pet's same exact heartworm and flea medications delivered to your home, saving you time and money. 1-800-PET-MEDS. We deliver savings and convenience.
Promotional consideration provided by the following.
Are you disabled? Have you been denied by Social Security or workers' compensation? Then call 1-800-DISABLED. On-the-job injuries, car accidents, or medical malpractice, call 1-800-DISABLED.
I get hot flashes, night sweats.
Try All Natural New Phase with more of the plant estrogens clinically shown to reduce menopausal symptoms. New Phase. Get more out of life.
So Kenny looks out and he says, "I came here to kill you." You know what, maybe it's a good time to have him come out here. Please welcome Mary's husband, Kenny, to the show. I see. You look at that front door, and first off, you know, after the incident with the cigarette and the locking up, you thought that you guys were done with Herschel, did you not?
Yes. We thought that the situation would just go away, if you will.
Go away.
You know.
You looked out that window and you saw him standing there with that knife. And he looked you in the eye and said, "I came here to kill you."
Yes.
Did the look in his eye make you realize he was telling the truth? That's what he wanted to do?
Yes, you could see it in his eyes. You could hear it in his voice. I walked up to the door slowly, and like I said, there's 3 different panes of windows, and just kind of looked out on the side, and I didn't see him, you know, and I thought he took off because one way is a dead end, so I was looking, of course, the other way,
and then
I didn't see him. Actually, it wasn't so much that I heard. I just remember, or as far as I know, you know, I remember turning around, and he was already in the house. He came in the back door.
At this point in time, when he had gone to the front door, he told you to get the kids and go out the back.
Yes, it's a duplex. And I worked with the girl next door, and we had that kind of arrangement. If there was ever any kind of problem or anything, you know, out one back door, in the other. We shared a yard. And so I was trying to, my daughter was 7, and her room was on that floor. And I was trying to get her out of bed so that she could go next door to Candra's so that she would be away. And it was a straight shot, the view, and he saw that we were trying to get the kids out the back door.
He came in that back door, and what did he do?
He grabbed me, he spun me around, and he stuck up the knife in me here, and he started dragging it across my chest, twisting it, while I was on the phone with 911, holding my daughter's hand.
Let's hear this. Listen to this 911 phone call.
Hi, 911, can I help you? He's breaking into my house. Who? My ex. What's his name? Herschel Jones. Do you have any weapons? He was arrested for domestic violence. Okay. Listen, hey.
911.
Hello?
Hello?
I've been stabbed.
Who stabbed you?
My ex. Hello?
Hello? Ma'am? Ma'am? Hello?
She's on the phone. At this point, you came running through the house.
That is correct.
And did what?
I saw him stab her, okay, plunged the knife into her. He like turned and looked at me, and then he took the knife and he stabbed it into her. And I saw that, and I remember yelling out, "No," just screaming, "No," and just ran right at him. I didn't think what I was going to do, anything. I just knew I had to get him out of the house. So I, more or less, I guess, hit him with my whole body and dragged him out towards the back door.
Meanwhile, he still has that knife in his hand.
Yeah. He gets into the kitchen area, and he's holding on to the counters. And so I'm trying to push him back out that door, and that's the only thing I think of, just getting him outside. And when he decided to let go, that's when he took the knife and went across my cheek right there.
But then he proceeded to stab you how many times, Kenny?
The record said like 13. I honestly don't remember them all because just the adrenaline, the rush of being outside fighting with him.
But even being stabbed 13 times, you ended up on top of him.
Yeah, it just, unfortunately, in my opinion, unfortunately, I finally was able to get on top of him right when the police showed up. Because I knew he hurt her. I didn't know if she was alive or dead. And I was just wanted to hurt him back.
You have been left with what kind of damage now to you?
I have permanent nerve damage on my right side. I have migraines. I don't have control of my right arm all the time. I don't have all the feeling in it. Feels like I'm wearing a big rubber glove up to about the middle of my body. I take morphine for pain.
He was convicted of what?
Breaking and entering, and he wasn't convicted of attempted murder for me. I don't know.
I think they sentenced him, and he ended up getting only 28
years.
For what he did.
Which
means he could be out of jail, you know, serving good time and all that kind of garbage in probably about 15, maybe 16.
And I don't understand that because he severed the nerve that brings the blood from the arm back to the heart. So I lost over 1 liter of blood in the house. And it was everywhere, and it was on my daughter. She was holding my hand when he did this. She's 7 years old.
And we'll remember this for the rest of her life.
And then when the police went to question her, she didn't remember. She said she was sitting on the couch. She said she was covering her eyes. And they said, well, if you didn't see anything, why were you covering your eyes? And she said, that's just what ex-boyfriends do. They hurt people.
I gotta take a break. When I come back, I want to meet another woman who, again, you think you are safe, especially in your own home. And in this particular case, and I'm not saying anything wrong about our guest, but one mistake, you'll understand what I'm talking about when I come back. We'll take a break. We'll be back right after this. For free studio audience tickets, call us at 212-989-8101 or visit our website at montelshow.com.
Did you serve time for a crime you committed and now you want to apologize to the person you hurt the most? If so, call us at 1-800-MONTEL-2. That's 1-800-MONTEL-2. Please welcome Corey to the show. And Corey, I want to make sure you understand when I say minor mistakes, I'm not blaming you at all. But I think this is a warning that we get to send out to people.
Yes.
You were living in an apartment, single mom.
I'm a single mom of 2 little girls, and I lived in a bottom apartment. And I had a sliding glass door, and kids will be kids, and they're playing, and I thought the door was locked. Well, it had been unlocked.
What time of the night was this?
It was actually in the morning. It was about 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. And I was in the shower, and I heard some noise, sorry. And somebody came into my bathroom.
Yeah, you didn't know this.
And I just heard noise, and I didn't know what was going on. I was getting out of the shower and I was attacked from behind with it was like a rope. And I remember fighting, and he was cutting and strangling me and saying, "How does it feel to have the air choked out of you?" I remember fighting because I have kids, and I fought, and I...
You were thinking about your children the entire time.
That's all I could think of was, my kids. And the way that my apartment was set up, the kids couldn't see into the bathroom from their room. And I fought. And,
It's okay.
I went over the top, the edge of the top, and he raped me. And when I come to being strangled, I was in shock. And I had a wound from my neck to here.
Had he left by then?
He had left.
But you weren't sure if he was out of the house.
I wasn't sure. And I had wounds.
Well, let's talk about that for a second, because when you stepped out of the shower, grabbed a towel, and the next thing you know, he's on you.
Yeah.
You didn't even realize. I mean, you did know he had a knife, but then you didn't realize he had a knife, right?
Right, and I didn't even get to really look at his face. All I saw was the side of his face.
But once you came to, you realized not only had he strangled you,
I had been stabbed.
He had stabbed you.
And I had been cut, and I had a 7-inch wound across my abdomen, a stab wound right here. He had strangled me so hard that it cut my neck. I had
bruises everywhere.
32 different bruises. I had a bruised kidney, 2 black eyes, a head wound from being beaten up so bad, and I was just covered from head to toe in bruises. Sorry.
It's okay.
I was in shock when I came to, and I got ready for school, and I drove to school. I had gotten my kids ready.
Your children are looking at you in the car. Your daughter's looking at you trying to figure out, Mommy, what's wrong, right?
And they didn't know. I didn't know. And I drove 30 miles across the bridge over the Columbia River. And I remember getting to the school.
You were able to let you drop your kids off first, right?
Yeah, and I didn't go in. They normally just used to go.
And then who saw you?
My friend. I got to the school, and he was the first person I saw. And I screamed his name and collapsed. And the next thing I knew, I was waking up in hospital.
Hold that thought for 1 second right there. Let me take a little break. We'll be back right after this. For free studio audience tickets, call us at 212-989-8101 or visit our website at montelshow.com.
Inspiration provided by the following.
From Jennifer Convertibles and Jennifer Leather. It's no interest, no payments, no down payment until January 2005. Pay less, get more at Jennifer.
Conceive in less time with accurate daily readings of your personal fertility. Clear Blue Easy Fertility Monitor, a clear advantage.
Please welcome psychotherapist Wiley Goodman to the show. Welcome on. Dr. Goodman, in all the stories we've heard today, it's a trauma like this that I think there's part of feeling invaded, not just, your personal space invaded. And in Corey's case, Corey, I want to talk about this for a second, so Dr. Goodman may be able to help you address this, but since this happened, what's life been like for you?
It's been terrible. I had to move. I lived in Portland, Oregon. I now live in Colorado. I had to move. I have gained over 100 pounds because I don't want anybody to think I'm pretty. Because I'm safe if I'm not pretty.
How does somebody get beyond this, Dr. Goodman?
I think you've done certain things to try to regain some safety in your life, but you know as well as anyone that you need support from lots of people and that healing takes time. This has taken a tremendous toll. Rape and invasion like this takes a tremendous toll on our bodies and our minds. And so we need equally powerful tools to try to get well again. I think finding a purpose in life again, your kids, coming here and sending your message out to other women to try to help them be safe, those are the things that are going to give your life meaning again, to make it understandable why you're still here. There's a reason why you're still here.
My attacker's not being caught.
This person has done this, they know probably to at least 2 other people.
2 other people, and they don't know where he's at.
And they did a rape kit on you.
They've done everything.
You reported like you should, and they did a rape kit, so hopefully they have this person's DNA, and so eventually if he continues to do this. How are you dealing right now with your children?
My youngest one has behavior problems. She's very distrusting. My oldest one is doing a little better, but they both need to know where Mom is all times.
Let me take a break. We'll be back right after this. For free studio audience tickets, call us at 212-989-8101 or visit our website at montelshow.com.
Ex-Montel. They're faithful and in love, so why won't their men marry them?
It changes depending on the day of the week. I've been ready for probably the last 5 years.
Today, these women need to know, will you ever marry me?
I love this girl. She is my heart.
You said, I will marry her.
Oh, I will.
When?
Some women may get their wish, but for others,
It's just hard for me to watch. I want it so bad.
will years of happiness come to a sudden end? On the next Montel.
We're out of time, so I want to thank all of our guests for being here today, and I will say that this number that we have on the screen right now is a number for anybody out there who may have some information about Corey's case. Call that number. You know, if you saw somebody on the street corner, you saw somebody in the apartment complex, somebody down the street at 7-Eleven or whatever, make that phone call. Our prayers go out to you, and I hope that with time, some more healing comes. You know, Corey, this is this idea of trying to hurt yourself or trying to make yourself less appealing to a would-be rapist it's not going to work. And you know that, right? Because the person who's raping isn't raping because of the way a person looks. The fortunate thing that happened is that some way, shape, or form, your daughters were protected.
Yes.
And now they're looking to you, and they want to protect Mom. So they're looking at everything Mom does as an example. So if you refocus some of your energy just on them, it may help to deflect this for a little bit.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know. And we'll try our best to find somebody for you to talk to.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Out of time. Join us on the next Montel.